story about King David. 2 Samuel chapter 11, verses 2, 3, 4, and 5. It says, one evening David got up from his bed and walked around on the roof of the palace. From the roof he saw a woman bathing. The woman was very beautiful, and David sent someone to find out about her. The man said, "She is Bathsheba, the daughter of Eliam and the wife of Uriah the Hittite." Then David sent messengers to get her. She came to him, and he slept with her. The woman conceived and sent word to David, saying, "I am pregnant." The verses after this actually describe how David tried to cover up his sin. He made an attempt to bring her husband home from the war so that he could actually sleep with his wife and believe that he actually got his own wife pregnant. The man ended up coming home, but he refused to go home to his wife. He actually slept outside of David's palace doors. That didn't work as far as David's plans, but David had another plan. In verses 14 and 15, it says, "In the morning David wrote a letter to Joab and sent it with Uriah. In it he wrote, 'Put Uriah out in front where the fighting is fiercest, then withdraw from him, so he will be struck down and die.'" Verses 26 to 27, "When Uriah's wife heard that her husband was dead, she mourned for him. After the time of mourning was over, David had her brought to his house, and she became his wife and bore him a son. But the thing David had done displeased the Lord." So we see here that God was not pleased with David's actions here. But God did choose David to be king because God knew David's heart. In 2 Samuel chapter 12, verses 13 to 14, "Then David said to Nathan, 'I have sinned against the Lord.' Nathan replied, 'The Lord has taken away your sin. You are not going to die. But because by doing this you have shown utter contempt for the Lord, the son born to you will die.'" David admitted that he was wrong. However, that did not take his consequence away. In verses 16, 18, and 20, David pleaded with God for the child. He fasted and spent the night lying in sackcloth on the ground. Verse 18, "On the seventh day the child died." Verse 20, "Then David got up from the ground. After he had washed, put on lotions, and changed his clothes, he went into the house of the Lord and worshipped. Then he went to his own house, and at his request they served him food, and he ate." David knew when it was time to move on. He knew that he was not better than God, and he forgave himself for what he did. If God can forgive you and me for the things that we have done, then we need to learn how to forgive ourselves. None of us are better than God. My encouraging scripture is coming from Psalm chapter 103, verse 12. "As far as the east is from the west, so far has he removed our transgressions from us." The last thing that I'd like to say is, don't let anyone remind you of who you used to be, not even family. If you know that you are a changed person because of Christ living in your heart, you are more than welcome to direct them and read even to yourself 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verses 17 to 21.